Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad, this is my channel Adamant Orange, and this time in 3D metal model news. Well, the Kawasaki jet ski that we talked about in a Metal Earth newsletter is now on the coming soon page. We have the Kawasaki Jet Ski Ultra 310LX is the official name for it. It is an ICX 144, which means it's a premium build, the old Iconics build. They don't use Iconics anymore, they call them premium, but the fact that the model number starts with ICX means it's the bigger, more detailed build. It is 2 sheets listed as challenging, and at first, looking at the pictures, it doesn't look that detailed or challenging, but if you look closely, there is a lot of detailed parts hidden here and there, especially if you start looking at the different angled pictures. Looks like this one's going to be a challenging and fun one to build. The assembled size, they give a couple of different sizes with the wave, because it has like a wave stand you can put it on. It's 5.9 by 2.2 by 2 inches in height without the wave. It is 4.7 by 1.2 by 1.9 inches in height, and they didn't give us both the inches and metric this time, and I'm sorry I didn't translate. But it seems like a fair size, not tiny, but a fair size. There's going to be a lot of detail crammed into that. A lot of tiny little parts to fuss with. But hopefully that's a good thing. The color looks nice, the model looks nice. The wave is nicer than it was originally, but not quite as fantastic as I was thinking according to the newsletter. It is a pretty basic stand with just wave side. The stand itself looks like it probably takes less than 5 minutes to put together. Probably less than 5 minutes to cut out and put together. But maybe, maybe not. But it's on the coming soon page along with, I believe, the Hipogriff. So we'll see how long before they move to what's new and if there's anything else coming. I have heard quite some time back that they had a lot of things planned, but they were being very quiet about it for a multitude of reasons. And one of which is we probably still have an issue with supply and demand pre-pandemic, even, I don't want to say post-pandemic, because we're just kind of in between things right now, in my opinion. But yeah, judging by the fact that I only have, I think, one other model to talk about here, there's still not a lot going on in the 3D metal model world. So not a lot of stuff is being put out there. Peace Cool is still very quiet this week. There's nothing new on their page from 2 weeks ago when I talked about it, or even possibly longer than that. The MU website is just the same. I did look around AliExpress looking for some new models. There was a figure that I saw last week on one page that I've seen on multiple pages this time. The Guan Wu Warrior. Talked about it last week. I had only seen it on one of the AliExpress stores. I can't even remember which one, but it's on multiple stores this week. But the one new model that I am seeing is, it's actually a trio of castles, and the title, I didn't put down the exact title. I think it's like Dark Knight Castles, but if you actually go into the listing on the MMZ store, it's 3 different castles under one listing. There's a Night Castle, which, you know, has one shape. There is a Dark Castle, another style shape of castle, and then a Nick Castle. All 3 of them are just plain silver. They look somewhat familiar, but I can't really place them, so maybe they are out there somewhere and I've just forgotten. They look kind of similar to models that I know about, but I mean, it's castles. If you know more about this, please let me know. I know MMZ a lot of times copy stuff, but usually when they copy or re-release models or whatever they're doing, they color them. In this instance, they're silver, which is kind of odd for MMZ, if I'm remembering correctly. There's no details given about them. If you go into the information, it's basically the usual MMZ spiel about their models, basically claiming everything is theirs indirectly, when it could be any number of brands, and talking about the free tool you can get for whatever reason and blah blah blah. No size measurements, no details, no parts numbers, no how many sheets, none of that. So there's really nothing for me to tell you about these 3 models other than show you the 3 different pictures that I have. Oh, and that they're about $15.84 US dollars, so $15.84 in US currency. Apparently discounted 10% from 1760. Your currency may differ. They all appear to be the same price, but again, no further information other than just silver models with a price tag. And like I was kind of saying before, there's really nothing much going on out there. Part of the, I switched somewhat recently from doing a video every week to doing it every other week, and I remember somebody saying there's not that much going on, so you might as well just update every other week. And at that time, I really wasn't doing it for that reason and didn't think that would last, because I've had quiet spells that eventually picked up and there was a lot to talk about. That hasn't happened, and I'm a little surprised at that things have continued to be such a slow trickle. Maybe that's how this is. Maybe things have slowed down for now. There are a lot of models out there to build, and maybe for the amount of people that are building these models or into this hobby, the market is sufficiently saturated that it's better to keep it this way. Maybe it is related to the ongoing virus that's going around and how it's mutating and basically, like it or not, interrupting the lives of many people. Maybe that's a factor. I don't know, but right now it's working out, barely giving me enough to talk about the every 2 weeks. However, I do have other things. If you remember from last week's video, I did bring up a comment that was left on another video. Sando, if I'm saying that correctly, asked, thank you so much for this week's video. Can you suggest to me some metal models with high difficulty level and the number of pieces from 2 to 300 on the theme of world architecture? And me not being that familiar with architectural models out there, I put that question to my viewers. I definitely got a lot of responses. Things ranging from Don Juan, Micro World Turkey, Blue Mosque, pretty difficult due to all the rounded dome architecture. Laurent Palm commented, I can propose the Micro World Burgos Cathedral, 229 pieces, some difficulties and hurting needles at the top of the cones, but the result is very good looking. And also the Peace Cool colored Notre Dame, 382 pieces, not built yet, but this model is amazing. Jay commented, thanks for another great video, Brad. I haven't done many architectural models, but recently did both MU Atlantis and MU Ponlai Fairy Islands. They are fictional but fantastic models. Thanks again for all you do. Take care and stay safe. Karanicus has a nice long comment full of all kinds of information. If I remember correctly, Karanicus is putting together a spreadsheet or a collection or a database of different models and information about them. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. So if you go back to the previous news video and check out Karanicus' comment, there's lots of information in that if you haven't already. And Richard Kroll also made a long comment mentioning several models. The MU 3D Puzzle Chinatown buildings, there's 6 of those. Peace Cool Jiayuan Tower P11-RKS 3D. The MU 3D Metal Model U Gardens, nice curved bridge. MU 3D Metal Puzzle Chinese building models, Anhui Garden. Peace Cool 3D Metal Puzzle Notre Dame Cathedral Paris. I think it may have been the one that Laurent Palm was talking about. So a lot of different suggestions in that last video. I suggest, Sando, if you are still looking, if you haven't checked out the comments, or maybe it's been a while, go check them out again. There was a lot of information from different people about some of the different options you have with different manufacturers and the ups and downs of them, because not all manufacturers are created equally. Like I want to say Micro World has some fantastic models to build, a lot of architectural models, but the problem with them is their instructions can be a bit garbage sometimes. And I think I've mentioned that because I believe the one cathedral in gold that's sitting right on the edge of view here, it was a Micro World, if I remember correctly. And yeah, there were some issues. Not terrible, but there were some issues with the instructions. So a lot of stuff right there. So definitely go check that out. It would make a really long video if I can talk about all of that, and I'm just kind of not. Sorry. There's another comment that I want to talk about that was left on a random video. It wasn't a news video. Can't remember which one it was, but it was from Station. Would you please provide Amazon links to the tools you use? I've been trying to find them and it's been difficult. Would be really nice to find the links in your About tab or something like that to your favorite tools to use. And I did, just before sitting down to record this video, take the time to go to my About section and kind of update it. And I've added several links of what I could find. You're right, it is kind of difficult to find some of the stuff that I use. One of the big things that I've noticed changed, and I looked today and it was another unexpected change, the precision tweezers that I use are Pixnor tweezers. I've been using them for something like 5 to 7 years. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and try to figure out when I bought them and do the math, but I'd say at least 5 years. To the point that the ones that I'm using, I think the names have faded off of them. It was a 7-piece set when I bought it. I did get it from Amazon. I only picked 3 of the tweezers out to use regularly, and one of those 3 I put the pointed tip against the grinding wheel for a second or two to grind it down so that it was a nice tab grabber. And the rest of the set I think I just kind of gave away in a giveaway that I did back after I got them because it was more than I needed. Can't find that Pixnor set anymore. And here are the 3 that I'm talking about. They used to all say, let me look here, I don't think a single one of them has it left on there anymore. If you hold it to the light right, I don't know if I'll do it on camera, but it says Pixnor and it gives like ESD, I can't even read it, ESD 11. There are 3 of them. This one that's just flat, it's useful for certain things, a pointed set, and then a very similar pointed set that I ground the tip down. You can't find Pixnor anymore, and I know that previously I looked for the set for somebody else that had asked, and they were a 10-piece set, and they included slightly different tools than what I have, or what I got in my set. And they also included this nice little case that you can kind of roll them up in. Now granted, I don't use all 7 or all 10, I just use 3, but you couldn't just find them independently. Well, you can find similar ones, and this is the problem. There are these independent little pointed ones are easy to find all over places like AliExpress or possibly Wish, but they're flimsier. And I got a free set with some model that I received through AliExpress, and they weren't really useful for anything because they were so flimsy. The metal was not as smooth, it was kind of potted, and these are fairly stiff. I mean, I can put some serious pressure on that and it won't flex. It flexes enough to close, but they'll hold on to stuff pretty good for their size. I mean, you can see how much my finger is dipping down there. It's not bending. But the other sets, the non-name brand stuff, even some of the name brands, I've never heard of Pixnor before I bought these, but there's so many other brands that just aren't as quality. I don't want to put those up in a link and say go buy these and be wrong and be one of the cheap sets or a knockoff that they didn't tell you. So I found a set that seems to have good reviews, and it's similar, and it actually looks like the Pixnor set when it had a case. Because there was a time that I was going to my local library and doing classes on metal earth models and just introducing people to them, and I recommended the library get several of these sets. They said they'd get it for this class and for other purposes. So I've seen them and they are still quality, but they were still Pixnor. The Pixnor name is gone. I can't, except for like, I think I found a link on Walmart somewhere that you could buy them. And this set looks just like the Walmart set. I put a link in my About page. Hopefully they are a good set. But yeah, it's difficult because over time the things that I use are either not available or I've changed tools several times. I put Fascination's 3-piece tool set in there because I still use one of those 3 tools, and it's the only way I know to get it. I still have the flat nose pliers. They came with the needle nose pliers, but I've since replaced them because they kind of wore out. And the Fascination set has a lot of reviews talking about the tools had scuff marks or weren't well built or weren't flat or had like flash from a molding process still on them. The clippers that came with my original 3-piece set broke a long time ago. They were great clippers, but they broke. And I've had a lot of issues with clippers, flush cutters, side cutters breaking. I finally settled on this Play-Doh set. This has lasted me a long time. This actually came from AliExpress, but you can find it on Amazon. I put a link for that. These seem to be holding up really well for a long period. But I put links on my About page. I have a basic set of tweezers like this that I've been using for quite a long time. They actually came out of an Iconics set. I have more. But Iconics doesn't include these anymore. Iconics is gone now. They're premium. They don't include tweezers. It's just changed. I've got this Such a Tweeze set, which is fairly new, and it comes with 4 tweezers that would almost replace the Precision set, but not quite. These are easy to find, and I saw somebody else mention that they use them, I think in a comment, just the name, not even a picture, and I did a search for Such a Tweeze, and it was easy to find. But I put a link to these. So I put a link to some of the commonly used stuff. I'll put a link to my Etsy page. There was already a link there, but I've just kind of updated it. And if there's something else that I can think of that I use a lot, I'll definitely add it. Some of my tools didn't come from Amazon. I just found them in a local hobby store in the jewelry making section. I've got step mandrels that I pop out every now and then. They're easy to find. I should go add a link to some step mandrels on Amazon. I've gotten my tools from lots of different places, and those supplies have changed. I think what I probably should do is make an updated video just about tools, tips, and tricks. Because I used to do tools, tips, and tricks videos where I talk about a new tool that I was using, or how something changed, or a new trick that I had learned. And I haven't done one of those videos in a long time because not much has changed. I've replaced my clippers a couple of times, but I got kind of tired of doing a new video every time I got a clipper. It's just for that to be invalid in 6 months. Though the set that I showed you, the Play-Doh set, has lasted a while. Wanted to do a video on this and just haven't. I should sit down and do an updated video on the tools that I use, because there are quite a lot. Some you see much more frequently than others, and try to provide some links for that. There are some old videos that have links, but they may be outdated. So, station, if you're watching this video, I did add some links. I hope that helps. I'm going to try and do more, but if there is anything in particular that you want to know where I got it or need some help, leave me a comment and I will do my best to try and help you find that tool, if I can even find it anymore, because that has definitely been the case with some of these tools, that I just can't even find them anymore, and I'm lucky to have them. And I know it's not just me. There was a tool set that Groove Builders got that I would love to have a copy, and I have been tempted to bug him about measuring his tools to try and recreate in 3D print. And it's like a cone shaping set, and there was something about it that was really unique and I thought would be fantastic, but he can't even get that set anymore. So this is a thing that unfortunately happens from time to time. It's kind of been one of the indoctrination things of getting into this hobby, was finding tools around your house, or tools at the hardware store, or tools in the kitchen that will serve the purpose of shaping your model or your piece. It wasn't originally designed for that, but it works for you. I know we have had, or I have talked with people on Instagram who were jewelry makers and had some fantastic tools to do things that I can only dream of. It's just wherever you can pull it from. I've heard of people shaping stuff with spoons from their kitchen. I tried once with different pieces of icing. I don't know what you call it, the thing you squeeze out icing with little tips. I tried that one time, didn't work so well. I've used medicine bottles, I've used marbles, I've used sharpened pencils, sharpened dowel rods, I've used so many odd and end things, batteries, whatever you can find that works. As time has gone on, people have found common things, people have created things. I've got my 3D printed tools that help with shaping. I know somebody else out there has some acrylic tools that they're sturdier than mine, but they're also a lot more expensive. It can get so complicated, and there have been, in the Metal Earth subreddit, there was information in the sidebar about where to get tools, and one of those links is not valid anymore because the store that sold the toolkit has completely blown away. And it's unfortunate, and I miss them, but yeah, it's a constantly changing world. I think I'm going to leave it at that because I'm pretty much rambling at this point. But thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for all your comments and support. Feel free to say whatever it is you want to say in the comments down below. And I apologize if I don't always get back to people or always answer questions right away. I keep myself pretty busy. I apologize for being a day late on this video. If you missed it, I left a post earlier. Well, at some point during the day, Saturday, I'd been up all night working and came straight home to helping a friend run around and do errands and grocery shopping and getting them places to get their medicine. They no longer have a car. And so I, at least once a month, help them with that. And today was the day to get it all done. And of course, what could have been a 2 or 3 hour trip, I go home, I make my video, and I edit it and throw it up, turned into I didn't get home and done until after 1 o'clock. Which, that was a long night for me. And I just needed rest. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters for continuing to support this channel. I've got another part 2 of that shuttle build video coming soon. And as always, keep on keeping on.